Hey, how's it? How are you doing? Um, do do do. Hey, Crippy? That's what we call cryptic sometimes. Crippy. Okie dokie. Right, before I go into Fnatic stuff, someone asked a good question on Discord. Fuck. I cut my thumb and I just ate some salty crisps. And it's like torture. The salt has got into me. What's their name? I can't remember what their name was. I should go back and answer more questions, but this question was good. So I might answer this one and then I'll go back. Oh, Deluxe is here, ready to paste the name. Thank you very much, Deluxe. So, long story short, the question is, for fuck's sake. The question is, up-and-coming coach and has their own beliefs and systems that they want to run. However, they have a player that doesn't trust my theory crafting a system. Instead, he wants to continue push forward that we should just watch the pros and take what they do. I believe I can do some stuff better, as the game is not solved. Is this bad on my end? Should I be copying pros? Should I just give up on my theory crafting or something? To be honest, I'm stuck. He was a tier 2 CSGO player, and I know that sort of system works. He's a better player than me in terms of rank and stuff. So it's a very good question. And there's not one simple answer. It's the exact same thing that Hey Riv, these are notes for not so much maybe casting, but also analyst desk. Because I'll be doing a bit more desk, but I'll be doing both. So yeah, I can show you in a sec what I'm doing. So I really like this question because it actually like kind of gave me. I was watching Ratatouille yesterday, at my family's house, and you know the scene where the critic like eats into the ratatouille and then like has this like flashback moment. You know, the literary among you might say it's a Proustian moment, where like he kind of goes back to his childhood and kind of remembers it all. Like this question kind of brought me back to like the first year working in Valorant, really, where like me and Boast were trying to figure out how to run Summon FC, and there was a lot of like but this very much reads like what Boaster's kind of like this is almost like if pretty much Boaster. Like Boaster has his like vision early on in the game and really wanted to run his vision, and he was having troubles finding teammates. Well, before me, he was having troubles finding people that would buy into it. And he wasn't the best at kind of he wasn't the best leader back then to get people to kind of buy into it. And I feel like I didn't agree with everything he was doing for sure, but like we were kind of developing our system as to how we can kind of push that and the push and pull between our visions and stuff. And even back then, like other players in the team, we would kind of give them some say. And so a lot of them, if you're going to ask any player, they're always going to do what is the least embarrassing option. So like if it's between playing something risky, back then it was like Viper Bind was a big thing. Like Boaster wanted to play Viper Bind, and our players did not want to play Viper Bind because Viper Bind was not played back then, and it wasn't meta. And I think we kind of made it the meta. And I was in between. I was like, I could see it being okay, but the way we were using it wasn't good. So it's like we either need to use it and make it good, or we just copy the other teams basically and just go meta. Part of what I was frustrated by with the Viper back then is we kind of like had these. We didn't abuse the post plants enough, and I was like, if we're gonna play it, we need to abuse post plants more. Was basically my solve. So anyway, back to actually the question. So I think I think one of the things I do with Boaster quite a lot was we would just have compromises, right? So like I think you need to have a you if you're a coach, you need to create an environment where you're able to talk about this stuff. Like instead of like asking other people, it should almost be like y- a- as a group, you need a team meeting almost immediately. Like before you even practice, that you need to stop practicing and actually have a team meeting and solve this out, like figure this out. Like as a team, you need to figure out the system. So um you need to be honest that like you probably cannot continue in the project long term if you don't have like you're not going to be able to survive this project long term if you don't get some of your creativity into the team. It feels like you have a vision and you want to do that vision. Um, the thing you got to remember though is that you're kind of um, uh, you might not be as good as what the pros are doing. You might actually not be as good as what like you might not be amazing. Like the people in your team might be right. Maybe the stuff you're doing isn't the best. So like you basically have to come to some compromise with like maybe on a map where you really feel strongly about an idea, you say, okay, well this is my map and I want to do the things that I want to do. On the other map, the other player on the team, he could do what he wants to do. And then like as you go forward with those kind of compromises, if the players start to see that you are doing stuff on that map that's like better and it's clearly working better, then hopefully you could start to kind of push that for more and more maps and create like a system that way. But I think if you start off and just like, yeah, I want to do my stuff on 7 maps, um, when you're new and you don't have like I could go into like most teams right now and probably be like, look, you're running my system, and they're gonna say, okay, because like I've got the kind of backing of trophies and kind of reputation to kind of like deal with it. Um, Whereas like you don't have like that to kind of just go in and bully people, you know what I mean? Like so you kind of got to gain respect on some level. So I would try and work out a system where like you kind of you need to be open and honest about the fact that you feel like you don't have you're not able to provide what you think you could provide, and a way that you can test stuff out um and see if it works, and then just be open and honest that like you might not be a genius, but like if you don't get to try it out, we'll never know, kind of thing. That doesn't mean that you need to do it across 7 maps though. In terms of copying pros, I would say that like the smartest people that I know in the game are people that don't just copy. I'm a I do like to I like to call it stealing. Like that quote is like good artists copy, whereas great artists steal. I think that I'm a stealer. Like I see stuff and then I like to make it better, or I see an idea and then I'm like, okay, I can see what they're trying to do with that idea, and they're onto something, but the execution is completely off, or like their application of the idea is completely off. But they're attacking something that I find interesting. Um, Copying is okay for some strats. Like if they got a nice raise alt strat, then copying it is fine. Like you don't need to steal everything. You can just copy sometimes. So yeah, long story short, so I should have been written it right now, and I think Riv just said that you're gonna have to VOD clip a reply. I think it's good enough that um uh my VOD today I answered this long form. Sorry, I didn't write it out. Go back and watch it. Is there anything else here? Because I did just talk a lot. Yeah, so it's not bad for you to have a vision. I think you have to be realistic though. That like that I know I group coaches in my head in a few different categories, and there are quite a few coaches that I meet who say things like I see the game like no other coach sees the game, or they'll say like kind of these grandiose things in a way that makes me like, okay, like yeah, I've heard that one a few times before. Um and like you just got to be like kind of grounded about it. Like you can't just be like, "Oh, I've got my system and it's so much better than everyone else." You got to kind of be a bit realistic and humble about it on some levels, because no one wants to work with someone who's like gonna be like that. You know what I mean? Because if you have that approach with the players, they're not gonna like you very much. I don't think so. Um, you have to prove that it's good, but also be like willing to kind of compromise on some level and kind of work with players, I guess. But I think it's a good approach though. If you think you have a vision and you think you can beat what, because to be frank about it, most teams, like, you see me, if you watch my stream at all, I get thoroughly frustrated by teams doing the same mistakes over and over again in macro and just not knowing how to play maps at all. And then everyone just copies each other, and then every map is like, a lot of maps right now are just played poorly. Yeah. So I think that's okay. Was there anything else from me and Boaster that like we could apply here? Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is just about having like a open communication with each other and being adults. Like, most of the difference between what like the best teams in the world are and not the best team in the world are, or consistently best teams in the world are, is just having a team that kind of talks to each other openly and honestly about stuff a lot. Because this kind of thing, like, I can imagine you kind of coming off a day's work or like coming off a prac and then just frustratingly like typing to your mates like, "Oh, I'm coaching this team, but they don't let me do any of my ideas." It's just like, that should be just discussed within your team. You should be creating an environment where that kind of happens. You know what I mean? And just be adults about it. If you're in a situation where you end up like arguing with each other about this, like, you're probably, I mean, arguing's fine, but you can't like just constantly argue. But you have to talk about it. Anyway, let me read back my Twitch chat and see if I missed anyone saying anything, because I did just start the stream. Hello, everyone that I missed who said hello. Can you review the Icebox comp? Don't I have like a redeem now, where like, if you want me to rate a comp, I gotta like you gotta redeem it? I felt like a cunt for doing that though, but I don't know what the point of the redeems are if I just answer questions all the time. If the coach doesn't have enough aura to take the control, they gotta prove it themselves. I mean, it's not just about aura. Oh my god, that noise. Thank you for the sub. I apologize for the noises that sound awful. I haven't fixed my Streamlabs thing. But thank you, Waffle Parrot. Yeah, I need to fix it. Anyway, is there anything else? Any other examples I could think of where like, I mean, it was the constant battle with Boaster, really.
The longer time goes on, we're just gonna realize that Mini's a fraud, man.
Thank you, Crippet. I think that if you sup with a prime, apparently you get the nice little fucking slicky flame of me. But not battle, but like, it's the constant. This is one of one of the things maybe we could talk about with Fnatic. Is like, I'm interested going forward how Boaster is without me, like on some level.
The longer time goes on, we're just gonna realize.
Thank you, Corey Clap. Thank you, Sylv. That slicky emote's funny, man. The clock in the air. For a long time in League of Legends, coaches were friends of players that stepped down. It was very hard for teams to grow because it's easy for your friend coach. Easy to say no to your friend coach. It was tough for teams until the infrastructure got really established for coaches and analysts. Yeah, I mean, that was something, yeah. That whole, yeah. Yeah, that whole, like, I think League of Legends, from what I understand, the coaches have, even nowadays, a lot of the coaches don't have, like, it's player ran a lot of the time. Or at least it's more player ran than Valorant, or at least more than EMEA Valorant. I think early Valorant was the same in NA, where like all the players made decisions, and even there are still teams in NA that have player ran teams. Whereas like, I would argue that the best teams of all time have been ones where like the coaches were the ones given control over stuff, I think. So yeah, like going forward with Fnatic is like Boaster, like what I meant about the battle between me and Boaster is like, Boaster's like a creative person who needs his kind of like, he's always gonna feel on some level that he needs to express his creativity in the game. And it's like, he's like the opposite of me, where like, I'm always looking for the most kind of I'm looking for safety and standardish stuff and a lot of boring stuff. Whereas Boaster's looking for like more innovation. And so like that was always the battle. Was like if he comes to me with an idea that sounds crazy, I need to both kind of listen to that thoroughly and make sure that he's heard and figure out if it's implementable, but also not just, you know, go too far with cooking. I think one of the things with Boaster that me and him were doing well was that like he will sometimes jump ahead to like solving problems in a really creative way, but he wouldn't always like identify what he thought the problem was. He'd like kind of skip ahead a little bit. And so I think I was really good at kind of like peeling back the layers and being like, well, you're solving something here, but I don't, and it's really cool what you're doing, but I don't know, like, what's the problem you've identified? And then we go back, and then I've realized he's actually figured out a really big problem. But instead of like looking at the problem, he's kind of skipped ahead a few steps, and then we would go back and like look at the problem together, rather than like nuclear bombing, like, you know, let's say like we played a comp and he's like, oh, we can't play this comp because of this. We should play this comp, and we need to play this comp because of this. I'd be like, wait, let's go back like 10 steps and like figure out where the problem actually is, you know. Mini's a boring Tory confirmed. Okay. Right, so let's go through Fnatic. So what did I do with other teams? I mean, I can't be bothered to read back. I've never done this before, and I don't think it is I don't know if it is for casting specifically. There's more stuff I need to do, but it's just trying to make me feel comfortable knowing all the teams. Like, I might not even use a lot of this information. So right, team goals. The Fnatic one's weird because for me at the start of the year, like, I think my expectations from Fnatic are higher than anyone else's expectations. Thank you, Ivy. Hey, how you doing? My expectations for Fnatic are higher. So like I was hearing people being like, if they come like 4th or 5th, and I was like, bro, if I'm coaching this team, I'm still wanting to like go to internationals and shit. So like, where would you guys have put them before? Like, be honest. Like, where would you have put them at the start of the year for like finishing in the league? Like, or even, should they be going to internationals? I mean, from the org side, qualifying to champs is like, if that doesn't happen for the team, like, this is pretty much, I think, the goal. I think like the goals in the past would have been like deep runs at both, like champs and international. I think that given the context of the roster, with like Leo being sick, and then the dip in 2024, I feel like that's obviously not quite the same anymore. At least fourth. Okay. Okay. So like if we say at least 4th, then this makes sense, right? Because like kickoff, if you come 4th or 3rd, then you're fucked. But like the next 2 tournaments, you can get away with at least 4th, right? Because it's top 3 and then top 4. So they should make champs if that's like and then a lot of you send top 3. So like 3rd to 4th is what a lot of people are saying. I mean, yeah. How to hit those goals. I guess this is like post kickoff. How do they hit the goals of this? And there's a lot of shit we can talk about, I think. I need to kind of backtrack and think a lot about how am I going to get all the things I want to say down in a logical way. Okay, let me think. Okay, I mean the number one for me, Althea needs comfortable role. Like he's not in a comfortable role now. Althea to go back to center. Just put him back on sentinel. That would be my thing. And then like when he needs to play Razor ISO, then you can do that. But he needs to go back to sentinel. Hey Sam, how you doing? Why did Alpha change from sentinel anyway? Okay. I'll put some backstory that kind of blames me slightly. But the narrative goes something like this. In 2024, let's say, where was it? For fuck's sake, what am I doing? In 2024, where was it? It was playoffs. So we finished the regular season in a spot where we qualified to playoffs, and I think we almost guaranteed champs, or we had guaranteed champs. And so at that point, it was well, the ISO stuff meant that Hero had started playing some Cypher anyway because Alpha was playing ISO. But generally speaking, Alpha was playing the Senti a lot, and Hero was playing like the flash stuff a lot, with Chronicle back on Recon. But like we qualified to champs. But like I made the argument that Alpha wasn't doing so well on Cypher at the time, but he was okay at Killjoy. But games we were winning a lot of the time were like Alpha go kill on like ISO and stuff, and he was having like massive games on ISO. And then Hero wasn't very comfortable on the kind of Gecko kind of stuff. So to me, it made sense for these two to kind of shift around a little bit. Like, I kind of made the proposal that like we need to find Alpha. Like, it was part one was like the uncomfortability of like Hero on some of the flex stuff and more comfortable on Cypher, and Alpha not looking comfortable on Cypher and looking more comfortable on like shooting stuff. And then the second part of it was that I thought that like our strategy didn't seem like it was overweighing Alpha's ability to carry the game. So like it felt like having Alpha on go kill agents was a more maybe a more consistent strategy than doing default stuff at the time, because I don't think our strategy was as good in 2024, to be honest with you. I think we had some holes. So I kind of argued that going into champs that we could lean more on Alpha as like a fragger. And then because we didn't have loads of time with Hero, and I don't think our strategy was quite as tight, I thought that was like a better way to kind of lean on. So after champs, we're now in a situation where Alpha's now not played Senti for a while. And then a third element comes in where Chronicle was actually looking... Chronicle... I know this is weird, but like Chronicle was the second highest rated Viper player in the world. And I kind of, when I left Fnatic, I kind of told them that like, when they're trialing for this fifth player, because I think I'd heard that Durka was maybe being replaced. If they're, what they could look at was like potentially looking at Chronicle and Sentinel could be an option if they wanted Alpha to go to Duelist, or if Alpha was playing something else, Chronicle could actually go to Sentinel. My arguments were that like Chronicle was the best lurker in the team, and his Viper stats were so ludicrously high, and the way he played Viper kind of showed me that he could probably play Sentinel and learn Sentinel. So like that was one thing I just threw out there, is like if they wanted that info for free. The irony was that like I don't know if you guys kind of this stat probably bangs more now, but the only person better than Viper and better at Viper than Chronicle in 2024 was Leaf, statistically. And I think that like if I said that last year, you'd be like, oh, that's not, who cares? Whereas like this year is obviously Leaf was absolutely fucking slapping everyone around, and it kind of, you know, that stat actually makes a lot of sense. So those were things I kind of left them with, and I didn't know what they were going to do. And then they ended up in a situation where they got Kayak, and Alpha was just kind of flexing around, and the roles were a bit weird, in my opinion. So that's the long story short. Is like I probably had some impact, kind of implying that maybe Alpha shouldn't be. But if I think I was coaching the team right now, Alpha should have learned Vice by now. And Alpha should be playing a lot of Vice, to be honest with you. Um, on maps where like he can throw in a Razor on ISO, then he can. But like, yeah. Do you think dropping Durka was a fumble? I mean, it's easy to say it now. I mean, I don't envy Colin's position at the time. With what he had to try and decide to do. I yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was a fumble. Was the decision above Kojo too? No, it would have been like Colin would have been. Colin's the person who has most of the kind of say when it comes to those things. Hey Sarah. Nobody, but it seems that the majority of Fnatic strats were based too much on defaulting. They kind of did that the wrong way. Are you talking about now or 2024? Oh, kickoff. Okay, we can talk about that stuff in a minute. So where does that leave the rest of the team? I just go Kron back to his normal role, Crashies. So, I mean, they need to find their identity, I guess, which is easier now with new coaching. Like, I do think that like it's a valid criticism of Elma that like they never found like. I think it's hard for me to kind of talk about last year because it's like I know I was like in the mix and it's like I'm kind of a biased party here, but it felt like I think you can look at it and say that they didn't find it felt like we kind of were doing a watered down version of what I was trying to achieve at times. And then even coming into this year, I was a bit confused by what their identity was. Like they could easily have leaned into heavy exec meta with Boaster's creativity. Like what Boaster wants to do as an IGL is go onto Valoplant and put down like one thing we used to do with the way I would coach attack side sometimes was like I would just make Boaster do execs and then I would reverse engineer how we would get to those execs sometimes, because I was like his kind of strengths early in the game was like creating these beautiful execs that had like loads of cool util with very specific micro, and then I would just be like, okay, well, if you don't know what to do for attack at the start, we work backwards and like we'll go to those execs and then I'll try and like we'll kind of work backwards from there and see if we can like figure out the the beginning of the rounds first, like later after that. So like he would usually have attack sides to do and I would usually have defense sides to do, and if he was kind of stuck with openers, I would be like, okay, well, I'll do defense, but that you just do the XX and then we'll kind of figure it out together and like work backwards. But that wasn't all the time. Like sometimes he would, and later on he was very strong at both. But the Teo meta was kind of designed for him. I'm not gonna lie. I think Teo Breach meta was designed for Boaster's creativity. So I wouldn't have and this whole idea that Fnatic can't play that fast exec style to me blows my mind, because I'm like, that's Boaster's bread and butter. The only reason we played so defaulty in like 2023 was because our team was so much better than everyone else's that like why would we risk going into like hard exec mode? And then the meta didn't exactly force you to do it either. And then maps like Split, we did that anyway. We just, you know. Why someone said Rust question mark. Is there anything else about the team right now? Find their identity. That's pretty big, finding their identity. Like style, I guess. Like crashes, I guess. Yeah, picking up Scott seems like a yeah. I think Scott. I was giving BBL. I was giving Powell, I think, a lot of the credit for BBL, but I think that Scott probably deserved a lot of credit. I don't know how much credit I should have been trying to assign to each person, but from what I know, like, and what I've heard, Scott was pretty big for BBL. So I could talk about that stuff in a bit, but I do think we have to talk about Crushies a little bit. How do we, like, Crushies needs to find some form. Like, he had a pretty rough time, right? Like, to the point where, like, Jake was looking better. Yeah. You like the planner for and plans from a specific site? Yeah, and this map I think is not a bad idea. On some maps, it's better on some maps than others. Like on some like exec heavy maps, you can kind of do that a bit better. Okay, so I think this is the most important note though, right? The team itself needs to find its identity. And we can talk about that now. Where like we just look at their comps they played. So Haven, they stuck. Oh shit, my headset just turned off. Why my headset turned off? It's because I'm just yapping with no sound on. Haven, they just stuck to the same comp that we ran last year, which I don't hate. Split, they stuck to the same comp we did last year. Fracture, they changed one agent out from what we did at Champs in 2023. And we hit. I know that when and like Anders, I think, are a bit critical of Server on this map, but like I think that we pushed what EG did on this map a lot from. I think if we played EG at Chance 2023, it would have been so interesting, because I think we pushed the server a lot on that map, and we only got to play it once. But they were doing a lot of the same shit. Like, so like they didn't. So there's 3 maps already where like they didn't really innovate. They just stuck Alpha on Chamber, and the Alpha Chamber experiment didn't work, to be honest with you. I think I was looking at it like he went 15 and 15, 14 and 16, 15 and 12 in a game they won 13-6, and then he went 16 and 14. Like if you're playing Fracture with Chamber, I feel like you need to be popping off on defense, and I don't think he ever really was. He went +5 here. But like we watched it the other day, and it didn't feel like Alpha was getting tons of impact. And I don't think it's Alpha's fault necessarily either. They were pretty static with how they played the Chamber. Killjoy Cypher is better on Fracture than Chamber. I mean, Vice. In the buffed Teometa, Vice was probably the play. Chamber is still not bad on the map. I think Chamber is pretty good on Fracture. But I just think that like if the player isn't popping off and carrying, then it's like almost pointless. So there's 3 maps where like the core of the identity on the map was what they've done in the past. Pearl is a new map, and they did actually change to Teo. So like Dusty was one of the Teo maps I guess they played. But it looked a bit we'll have to look at their defaulting stuff. They did have a 9-3 attack half though, but I don't think they implemented it that quickly. And then Abyss, they lost with Teo immediately and then just swapped to just Jet Yoru. Like this was a pretty big map to lose in the grand scheme of their kickoff. So like they were kind of trying to find stuff to play, but the majority was just like stuff they'd done in the past. I don't think I can really be too critical of that approach because I do think that this compound split is still very strong. I think this Haven comp is pretty strong. The only problem is that people have seen this like 1,000 times now. So like I don't know. It's difficult. It's kind of difficult. I don't know where I lie with my criticism. And I'm a very biased person here because obviously I would keep things fairly straightforward most of the time. Do you think Alpha goes back to Sentinel? I think so. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Whose turn is it today? It's Fnatic's turn. Hello, Juggernaut. My name isn't Memea though, but hello. So I'm not sure where I stand with comp. I think it's it's pretty easy to say that they didn't innovate enough, but it's also fair that they didn't change like some of the comps. Like I think on some of the comps they are still better than other teams' comps, and then they probably didn't. They went for the approach of like we'll play a Teo on maps where we feel like Teo is good, or like we're gonna get value from him. Whereas the maps we feel comfortable on, we won't play Teo, which I think is a fairly reasonable approach. Played Teo on maps they didn't have a really strong comp. Reasonable approach. I don't think it's unreasonable. The only thing I would say though is that like reasonable with the downgrade of firepower, I think that you can even probably say Kayak's a downgrade, Crash's downgrade firepower. I think that but probably needed to take more risks with firepower downgrades. It's weird because like the Fnatic style is like to like have everything practiced out quite a lot and then be comfortable with the practice and be comfortable with what you're doing and not just change randomly. The problem with that though is that two things are the problem with that. One thing is they changed the meta almost 4 days, like a week before kickoff. And the second thing is that they don't have. The second thing is that strategically, I don't think they're in a position to do that all the time anymore, or they weren't. I feel like it sounds like such a cunt thing to say, but I feel like when I was around and when I had Anders' help, and then the system we had was more strategic. Yeah. So like that was more of a strength. Yeah. So like to lean on stuff that you've heavily practiced is okay, but it's like it might be better to just lean into like stronger picks that are less practiced. Three Leos. What do I think of Vitality's new player? I almost wanted to make a joke that like, oh, if you get 30 kills in one, like that 130 kill game, that 130 kill game might have got him a VCT spot because like Vitality just saw, oh, he dropped like because there was like Reddit threads about that game. He's dropped like 35, right? And it's kind of funny that like, you know, he seems like a good player, but I'm sure that 35 kill game helped. I don't have a hot take on him. I don't really know him. I was thinking about I was talking to Lauren yesterday about like how you should discuss like roster changes because I this is a sidetrack off the Fnatic thing, but like even Fnatic are kind of guilty of this with the Durka thing. Whereas like orgs have no benefit to telling the truth about players because it's in their financial interest to kind of move them on somewhere else. And so we never get the real truth about like a lot of like moves. Like I know in the Durka situation there was nothing like big and like there was no big kind of like story there. But like people were still left questioning, I think. And then now every single move that's happened in EMEA, everyone's like doing these like I was gonna do this funny thing where like if we can get the responses or the reasons why from each of the people, like Vitality's coach did like a piece of text that said about transparency and the reasons why, but there was no reasons why. Team Liquid had Eamon, who's like actually a close friend of mine, do a video where he basically said no reason why, apart from we want to go to champs. It's like, well, yeah, but why? Like, why Kamek? Like, and so like I was gonna do a funny thing where like I could review, we review all of the responses for them or something, and just say who actually said any information, who is actually being transparent. The reality of it's nobody saying anything. There's a lot of talk and no actual substance. So it's just like, yeah. So I'm not sure how we're supposed to deal with that because now I hear rumors about these players. I'm like, well, am I supposed to talk about those rumors? Like, if I'm on the desk, like, and if we're on like a desk and like we have a coach and we're like asking them about, oh, you know, this player move, and they just say, oh, it's a difference of vision or something. I'm not going to accept that as an answer. I'm going to be like, well, what is the fucking difference in your vision? Like, I want to actually hear these reasons, you know what I mean? Hello, Chronicle. Well, Fnatic tried to get trucks. I would highly doubt it. They're going to put kicks on Recon after how well he played on Flash. When you have a player playing that well on Flash, you don't move them. Do you think Heretic still has a shit ascent? I don't know. Faded said he was going to be transparent, then proceeded to not explain why Trex didn't fit the system they wanted. Yeah, I mean, like, how are we supposed to work with that information? And then am I a cunt to just be like, okay, well, why did this guy get kicked? Whoa, like, what is, like, how cunty can I be? Like, I don't know, like, because it's really bad. It's really bad for like a broadcast and just be like, oh, there was a roster change. Let's just guess why. Yeah, it's almost like it creates more questions than answers, and then like as well, I have a little bit of information about these things. Like I have rumors and I have like a little bit of information about these players historically. And if I just start using that information, I could make these players look worse. If they just came out and said like an actual thing, instead of me start saying that I've heard this guy's a toxic cunt, or this guy, I heard that he just literally, never turns up to prac on time and doesn't give a shit, or this player literally like every single prac is like, running it down. Like, but if I start saying that, that's like really unprofessional. But yeah, so we'll figure that one out. There might be some unhappy players. There might be some unhappy teams. Okay, after Fnatic's kickoff and with coaching staff changes, what are expectations for stage one? So they actually came like 5th, 6th, right? So it came 5th, 6th. They beat Navi, Gentle Mids. They lost to Foot BBL, and they got kind of smothered by Foot. They should have beat BBL, like, if we're being real. But BBL also was playing with a sub, so it's like... I just had a very interesting WhatsApp. Very interesting. Anyway. It wasn't Kron. Kron ain't threatening me. Wait, so what did I say? You'd hope to see themselves back in top 4. I already talked about Scott. I can readdress Scott when we go back through and talk about other stuff. Do we expect them to do better than 5th to 6th? It was a WhatsApp from a producer at Riot. Why is your slide deck in light mode? That's good. How do I change that? That's it. That's a good. That's solid. What? How do I change it without? How the fuck do I go to dark mode? At the top. 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 There's a lot of top. View. Mode. Change the theme. Oh, guys. If someone can explain it to me in a... You will leak if you do this. Okay. Okay. I'm not changing it. So get fucked. So we go back to the question. Let's go back to the question. Do we expect them to do better than 5th to 6th? Yes. No. Let's actually look. Well, actually, that's not the way we need to look at it, actually, is it? That's not an actual good way of looking at it. The real way we look at it is, where do we expect them to come in this group? Where do they get out of this group, right? We're saying they get out of this group. Where do they place in this group? I'd imagine you're gonna say 1 vitality, 2, 1 vit, 2 team heretics, 3, 4, and then Navi fanatic. Fourth. Wait, do you guys think that giants are better? See, my whole spiel about giants is that I think they're actually worse. But this is probably... I have them coming third. I think I have them coming third. So I'm gonna put should come third in group. But then what do they do in playoffs? Do we think they make it to international? Is that what we're gonna say? 3 teams from each region. What are the 3 teams you guys think are gonna make it to Toronto? The thing, I think we have to be realistic about, like, I think that Fnatic are gonna do well this split, but I can't pretend that, like, that I don't think they're expected to do well this split, if that makes sense. Like, I do think that they absolutely can make Toronto, but that doesn't mean that they're expected to, if that makes sense. Name a woman. Shit, who's in chat? No, I can't do it. I can't do it. You're a woman? Thank you. Thank you, what's up? Should come there. Yeah. Scott is underrated, coach. I think make it over Fnatic. Did Amma Paddy leave Fnatic? No, he got kicked. Wait, is there anything else that I want to talk about Fnatic? Players, right? So Kayak was doing well in the last 2 games, wasn't he? Well, I mean, this game no one did well. Kayak, Shaky, start, find form. Althea needs a real role. Chronicle needs to chronicle. Crashes to find form. Boaster looking mechanically sharper, but who fucking cares? He's an IGR. Oh, other actually. This is one thing. We'll go into this in a bit with the VOD. There are some things about Fnatic that I can say now without watching the VODs because I did a lot of prep for them when I was casting. One thing specifically was their defense adaptations were horrendous. So, like, I'm when I say who cares, like I'm not being super ironic or sarcastic. I am being slightly serious. Because specifically Abyss and Split on defense against BBL, they had very easy things that they could have shifted, especially on Abyss, and made no adaptations whatsoever. And I think that usually you would kind of look at the coach and be like, in the timeouts, why didn't we kind of adapt? Why didn't we kind of like actually stack the right site? But on some level, that has to come from Boaster too. I think historically that has been, if I was to look back in the history of us losing or having rough games, even that Gambit game, the kind of split game where we went to like 1,000 overtimes, some of that was to do with our defensive adaptation wasn't good, and I was partly to blame, but I ran out of timeouts. TLDR, Gambit went A like 20 times in a row, and we didn't strong side A the entire game. So I think that like that was genuinely something specifically strategic that Fnatic fucked up with. Poor defensive adaptations not happening in game or from timeouts. E.g. Abyss. I think it was the Abyss. The Abyss was the egregious one. Because I think it was BBL went B 6 times in a row at the end of the game. Like they finished B. And Fnatic made no adaptation whatsoever. And Split, it just looked a bit lost, but like I think it was a fair point. I'll go back and watch them and like we'll kind of talk about them. Back in my day would have been that like I would back when I was coaching, I didn't think my timeouts were actually amazing, but I do think having looked back now, I do think I was not bad at timeouts. I think I was pretty good at them. And so I think that defense's adaptations would have probably been something coming from me back in the day. Okie dokie. Right. But strategy. Like I'd kind of frame it like this, like it's not like who cares, but like at the end of the day, if they're not strategically good enough, then who cares if he's shooting slightly harder? In my opinion, anyway. Coach. So Elma gone. Chance for Milan to stamp an identity to the team. Doom Bros sick. Doom Bros inactive. Scott seems decent. Hello, Cold Brew. Who do you think then missed out for Toronto? Obviously, Vitality should be set, but out of Fnatic, TL, Foot, and TH, do you think Foot? I don't know who misses out. I don't know who goes. I'm not good at that stuff at all. What do you think of their new head coach? Yeah, he's too tall. I do think when Bosa's fragging more, his calling isn't as clean. I think that could be true. The running joke back in the day was that anytime Boaster was like doing well in the server, like we kind of sucked. But I don't think he was like playing more individually or anything. He just was hitting shots that he needed to. So it was like I don't know if he's spending more time about like thinking about his aim. My read on him was whenever he didn't think about his aim, it was just better anyway. But like when he starts to think about like, oh my god, I should be doing better at my aim because I'm training my aim and I've just whiffed and I'm a fraud. Like it's like he just gets into a cycle of just nonsense. Overall approach. Well, this is gonna change, right? So it's like it felt like standard-ish Fnatic. But using old good comps, recycling, retakey focus. I think the retakey stuff, I think this kind of comes from my era a little bit, but I think they're doing it too much. I don't think they know sometimes how to not play. They need the in-between. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of hard. If I can't explain it to you guys on a stream, then it's going to be hard for me on a broadcast to explain. They play retake too much on some maps. Is basically what I'm trying to say. It's almost like, okay, so it's like the underperformance is an opportunity to take risks. If you know what I mean? Like they could copium all they want that like they were so close to like doing okay, but they weren't that close. So like they should just like instead of copiuming, just be like, okay, you know, let's go back to the drawing board. Meta read some inclinations of Teo, but they preferred to play their practiced approach. Mostly. No vice. Yoru lovers. They didn't shit at bind and sketchy abyss. Which is weird to say they were shit bind. They perma banned. But Ascent historically iffy. Icebox great until 2024. So like the map pools should be good for them. Like they need to relearn how to play Ascent like for real, and they need to actually remember Icebox. So like it should be a good change because if they got their perma ban out and then a map where like they didn't find success really on. I want to talk about this. I guess questions. What did they learn from kickoff? The meta shifts. What did coaching staff see from the old Fnatic and think needed to change? What is the new identity style? Stats and graphics. Something alpha, yes, row. Agent over complications. It's like something, there's gotta be some kind of graphic-y thing about that, surely. We'll probably have a Milan interview we can talk about before after that. So we'll actually go through this so I can show you guys, and I'll get some timestamps because I actually do want to. This is something that like I most of this stream is me actually just working through stuff, but like this is something that I probably don't need to work through. Like I remember it quite distinctly. Wait, it wasn't. It was versus foot actually, I think. So maybe I did need to actually go for it. Like, let's watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Like, Fnatic are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Oh wait, you can hover it. 10-7 up, and they lost both pistols. 10-7 up, lost both pistols, and then we'll see what foot do for the rest of this game. Okay. So at 10-7 up, lost both pistols. You're in a spot where you're thinking, yeah, this game's going all right. We're the better team. So we'll get to 10-7. We won't listen because I was like, I think I might have been casting. 10-7. Timeout taken from foot. Timeout taken from foot at 10-7, and they win the rest of the game. 10-7. So what are they doing? So we got defensive setup is like a 2-1-2. Attacking, they go for a B. Number one, they go for a B. They win. How do Fnatic try and defend B? They went for like a cheeky like Astra hard hold with Yoru ready to TP away. And, you know, they're not even close. Like, if you're going to play this as Astra, sorry. If you're going to play this as Astra, you better have people fucking ready to help you. Like, more than one person. So, like, they just get BX'd and fucked. Look at where their third player is. Like, this, they're essentially 2v5. On Abyss B site, that's not going to happen. They actually do get a kill and get fucking out, though, some fucking how. So they've got away a murder. Bosa swings round and kills. But they lose the retake. Second round. Fnatic again, 3-3 on A. They go for a push on A. Don't get anything. They go for a mid push. This time they do have 3 people ready this time. So this is good by Fnatic. Good from Fnatic. But they lose to a B. So 2 in a row, B finishes. Third time. A main aggro, nothing towards B. Third round in a row, B site. Fourth round. So at this point, there should have been a timeout this round. At the very latest. To say they are going to finish B for the rest of this game. How do we want to fucking adapt to that? Look. 10-10. They are going B. We don't have a strong setup. We have a retake, kayak, and then Boaster offsite. They've gone B for the 4th round in a row. Timeout now. Probably one round too late. No adaptation about B. They do go for some mid push, which is interesting. And then because the timeout happened, Foot are one step ahead and like, well, like we've gone B 4 rounds in a row. We might as well go A. So like because the timeout came one round probably too late, it's too obvious for Foot to go B again. So it's like Foot are just ahead. So to me, like those 4 rounds where they just ended B, and then look, 5th, they did the 1A thing, and they're just like, fuck it, go B again. Like they just won the game going B basically. So to me, like that was a pretty big. Okay, I got a lot. Okay, I got a lot of emails. I got about 6 emails about 6 very adult emails about fucking tax and shit. Okay, that's stressful shit. Right. So that was the first thing, and then the defense versus. I don't even need to show you the fucking rounds really versus BBR. You just look at that and just realize that like clearly there's something wrong. You know what I mean? From what I remember, we could probably. I want to see if I can do this and it look cool. If I was just snapshot like a round, like midway through a round, let's go down to about. Okay. I gotta say, in general, I mean, it's kind of bonus round. In general, what was happening from what I remember is the formation was something like this. Like if you were to like draw a line between like where all the players were, it felt like a formation like this for Fnatic, most of the defense. And then BBO just had loads of space. And then Kayak was taking Jules top ramp a few times and just losing. But I think he stopped doing that. It was a lot of just Chronicle trying to hard out A. And then Kayak wasn't able to like... Kayak would like fall back into him, from what I remember. And there was just no map control for Fnatic. It is not an easy comp to have map control with, but... yeah, it felt like this quite a lot at the start. And then at a certain point, they're pushed off middle. And then this is the key point in the round, right? This is the key point. Kayak's been pushed off middle. Now what do? We need to do something. We can't just sit back. If we want to sit back and try and hold, be my guest. But like I feel like we need to do something. And like the something they do is nothing. They just stay 3 people B and then just have like a bunkered ace up. Like this, if we just like this is a perfect snapshot of what was going wrong. It's not the easiest comp to be proactive with. But like there's no activity at all. Don't have B main, we have no middle, we have no ramp. Like BBL can do anything they want right now. And like you see, like even the gap into somehow like they find a timing to CT. Like this is kind of a rough timing, like kind of unlucky, but like they just get fucked. Like you got a guy going into there's 2 people got into their spawn. It's like that passive. So yeah. Maybe I should actually timestamp. Should have timestamped that. What fucking round was that? Yeah, I might. You don't know why Fnatic crap sign crushes. Who would you have got? I might be reading too much into this, but Boaster would fidget his legs a lot during pressure situations during timeouts and such. Was this ever a concern? Um, uh, it's funny because like I should be saying like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I know exactly what you mean. Like players have ticks or things that they do that annoy other players or like seem distracting. To me, like when Aspas pulls back his chair and goes back, if I was a coach, I would probably get annoyed with him doing it. But like in all reality, every player just has their thing that they like to do, and you kind of got to just accept it on some level. If it doesn't, as long as it's not like impacting other people. So I think everyone on the team knows that Bosa likes to like shake his leg, like when he's like thinking. As long as it's not like, uh, you know, if the tables aren't being wobbled or something, it should be fine. Kang chewing gum, that's unacceptable. The chewing gum, like if you're chewing gum that loudly on your fucking comms, I'd kill you. Like I have like I don't understand why EDG allow him to just. It's disgusting and it's horrible, and it's like annoying. Like you can't hear comms. How much to throw it back? My chair is so broken and it doesn't allow me to do that. Durka was breathing loudly during the 1v3 on Haven, yes, but that doesn't affect anyone. How have I spelled kayak like that? Isn't it like that, right? Yeah. Is it like that? Oh. So anything about pistols? I don't think they were great at pistols, were they? 1 for 2. 3 for 1. No, 3 for 4. 5 for 6. No, wait, 5 for 6? What am I talking about? Why can't I do maths out loud in my head? 1 for 2. 3 for 4. 4 for 6, sorry. One for 2. 2 for 4. 2 for 6. One for 2. 2 for 4. Is 8 out of 20? Okay. 0 out of 2. I mean 0 for 4. So not. It's not a great pistol win, right? Mate's Flame in the Fnatic session? Where? Eight for yeah, sorry, 20. I don't know why I put 12. I don't understand why Cronus on something wrong. I just did like a 10-minute speech about why that was, and I can't be bothered to repeat it. If you want to go back into the VOD and look at what I said, you can go back. Are you prepping for just for Fnatic or just for fun? I'm prepping for broadcast. I'm just going through all the teams with what, stuff. Why is Alpha on Duelist? He's not. He's the second Duelist. I mean, he plays Raze sometimes because he is a good Raze player, but he's usually second Duelist if they're gonna, Anyway. GC finals, like, as much as it's fun that like there's new teams in the finals, I was looking forward to G2 Goes and Inflamin', but I guess I can't have everything in life. They like they thought their Fracture was better than their Haven, I feel like, during this, but like it wasn't. Is basically my analysis. This is a mental map veto from mates. This is a I don't know why you've made this map veto, JT. You've given them Haven Fracture. This is not. This means that Gentlemates' map pool is dog shit. Have you... Pro Fracture. The Pro wasn't too bad, was it? They only played it once though, right? Let's see. What did they... They beat Navi. The thing is, though, overall, I would have more confidence in them playing Split than Pro. But how did they think that? We didn't get to see it really. I guess 3, 4. I think this is almost exact where that map pool was. Fnatic should have signed Hero instead of Crashes. Yeah, but your timeline is completely off. They didn't need... As soon as the season ended, they didn't know they needed a player. They thought that Leo was gonna play. So like, it's not like didn't. You can't just let Hero stay and then be like, you're not allowed. What you can't sign him. There was nobody signed. If you know what I mean. Like you've missed it. Like you could say they didn't plan well enough around Leo. I think that's an acceptable criticism. But I don't think you can say that. I don't think you could say the Hero thing. Oh, this is actually this is the only net meta thing that I was interested by in terms of like economy was Hero FanDuel buys on second round attack. This is something like if we go into the season, like the first couple of weeks are probably going to be like, or the first week is there's too much to talk about. But like this is the kind of thing that like for, like midway through the split, see where this goes. I'll try and find some rounds where they do it because there I don't know if it was specific maps or it was just one-off cases, but ults. I mean, it's Fnatic. They're gonna have good ults, right? It's Fnatic. Do I really need to say more? I don't know about this stuff. I think they had a good game plan. Good plan versus Mates Abyss. I think they like switch. Like I think Foot like. I think Fnatic switched their game plan against Foot because they knew that like Foot would watch and just be like, well, they went A round. So I think there was some decent adaptation, but I'd have to watch VODs really for prep stuff. Anything I missed out here? Alpha, it's Fnatic. Alpha gets a pass for Teos. There is more wrong with should I find examples? I can find examples if we want of where I've written in my notes that Alpha's post planting. Should I try and find the rounds and be kind of I felt like happy to do it to Alpha because like I get on with Alpha. I'm happy to call him out here. And it wasn't just his fault really. But let's watch some of these rounds. I might clip them and just like have them ready. So like we're gonna look at salvos in post plants, okay? So I don't remember this round, but I have a feeling that we have an open plant, right? We have an open plant with a Euro ready to TP out. So what should happen in this round is, and then we got Suck and Shocks. What should happen in this round is they take a little fight towards the backside, Euro TP's out, and Omen is dead. And then we're playing like a offsite post, right? Where we have Salvos, Suck, and Shocks. Through this game, Alpha kept using salvos. Like in this situation, he will probably salvo like this. And it will be wrong. If he doesn't, then fair enough. But I remember in this game him doing stuff like that quite a lot. So like, let's just watch and see what he does. See? Did you see that? So the paranoia came in for Jake, and then he salvoed here and here. When to me, it's irrelevant. Like, it was poor. Like, to me, this is poor. And I don't know if it's Alpha's fault or coaching staff fault. But this isn't good. So he salvoed here and here, when he should just be saving them for the post-plant. They've also not really done too much. I mean, he used them to kind of isolate a kill here for himself, which is not bad, but Levin had no reason to, like, he could be just staring at Alpha, to be fair. So that would be like... that's like the first one. Let's see if we can find any others. Like, I'd almost, if after watching this game, and if they were to play Teo again with Alpha, I would almost be like, never use, like, I would almost like give him a rule where it's like, never use your Teo salvos in post plant for anything aggressive. I'd almost be like that literal with him. So now again, okay, let's see what he does this time. 5v3, so we probably don't need the salvos, but we just need to use them for spike, right? So this time in post plant, he just dies. Like, he just dies. Like, this is not good. Like, in this situation, what he should be doing is angling himself to see the cross at the latest point possible. So, like, once the players who are coming down here or up here, they're going to be looking down here. But then once they get to about this line, they're going to start looking this way. And Alpha will be able to see them cross, and he'll be safe. but instead he's just wide swinging and just trying to take duels. So like, this is again like poor Teo. Like to me, like it's not util usage, but this is poor Teo post planting, right? Like this is just bad. Like he's in a 5v3, so he's probably just being cocky, but like it's really bad. Because look what happens. Like it's actually kind of like, it's kind of winnable. They have a Sage, like. They lose 2 people for it. They could have lost way more than this as well. It's like a little bit sketchy. Is that worth even... Like, I don't think this is broadcast worthy, but it's definitely like a short video worthy, right? Of being like, you know, one of the reasons why Alpha's not good at Teo. Seems like a set play with the paranoia. That wasn't a set play. Supported Fnatic for 3 years from Australia. But what a rough time to go to the studio. But Milan, they got Milan too. Any gifters? Get this man off. Get this man off. God, what's the tech pose? This is Fnatic 101. The fuck happened? Oh, this is BBL, wasn't it? Actually. Okay. Let's see if I can see any more rounds. I mean, this one's weird too, right? Where's the spike? Spike's gone down. So they go onto site because the Astra ult, and then I guess they ask Alpha to ult. Yeah, so Boaster's... You can see this? Boaster, I'm pretty sure Boaster is literally pinged. You see, he's like looking at the corner. He's pinged exactly where Alpha should ult. I remember seeing this thinking it wasn't even like that great and all, but like I can see why they needed to do it. And then he's ran out and died again. Like he's just died again. I don't know if he's over swinging this or something. It looks like he's over swinging it. But it's like, how many of these post plants? Like I would say this is a mistake. It's not a big mistake that you could probably use, but it's like, maybe it's interesting on some level. Another post plant, right? This time against Eco. So use the salvage for the exec. And I didn't need to second cycle, it's fine. We won. Dead. Boaster or Crashy should be on tail. Crashy's probably in this. I mean, it should be clear in this comp. I don't think this comp's very good. I think if they just played one smokes agent here, it's a much better comp. I don't think it's weird. Like as soon as they just started execing people with the other comp, they look better. I don't think you need 2 smokes. Double orb smokes. It's not a bad ult. Don't think. So you saw the problems with his post plant, but they didn't even get to post plant towards the end of that game. They were fucked. So Where's the Viper? Viper is not very good in the current meta on Abyss, I don't think. Any maps that we want to watch? What maps should we watch? A Fnatic map? I feel like Pearl or Fracture might be worth watching. Because if we watch any other map, it's going to be stuff they've done in the past. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to go to Fnatic match page. No, stats. Don't want to watch Haven. I don't hate the idea of watching Split. I don't hate the idea of watching Fracture or Pearl or even Abyss. What do you guys want to watch? Like a map of Fnatic. Maybe even 2 maps possibly. Pro versus Navi for the best caster line. Split Abyss. Hey, Cold Brew. What I'd be interested in on Abyss would be defense side. Pearl, kind of interested in how they approached attack generally. Fracture, I'm interested in the chamber. And Split, I'm interested in looking at like almost making an argument about the style on attack that they play on this map and how it could have been informing their Teo play. Because I think that like I don't think they had it down, the Teo play, but they did win 9 on Pearl, so. Do you think Fnatic map will get better after the last rotation? I mean, I put it here. Permaban, Bind, and Sketchy Abyss, but Ascent is historically iffy, and Icebox was great until 2024, so should be improved, but like the way I describe it is their map pool in general is sketchy. Good maps. Using close on. Like their Haven should have lost versus Navi. Their Fracture was hit and miss, and their Split lost. And those are maps that you generally consider Fnatic to be good on. I should just. So what do we want to watch? Did you dye your hair? And why is this a PowerPoint? Why is it not a PowerPoint? Did I dye my hair? No. Why did you think I dyed my hair? It's because I'm in the sun. It's just the sun is in my eyes. How do I block out the sun whilst you can? No. The irony of being a graphic designer is that like I could do it nice and pretty, but like there's no point. You quickly learn that there's no point of prettiness. Marda-esque from kickoff, i.e. very pretty. It's nice when you guys are nice to me, but it feels really weird and disgusting inside. No, I appreciate it. What are we watching? What are we watching? Right now we got Fracture versus Foot. We got an Abyss and we got a Split and a Pro. We got 1 vote for each. Should we make it a poll? Let's make it a poll. Fnatic, VOD, Fracture, Pearl, Split Abyss. Duration, 1 minute. Start poll. You tell me what you want. Because I don't care. I got a haircut on Friday, so we'll see. Maybe I'll go for the pink. Maybe I'll do a dryad. I think I could pull it off, to be honest with you. Bro, you all actually vote. Like when I ask you to chat, you don't chat, but you sit there in the backgrounds. You sit there in the backgrounds lurking and voting. Abyss is gone. That's a very good point. That's a good point. You'd be cunty with pink hair. I would be so cunty. I like the idea of making me look like a cutscene character, like a, you know, those cutscenes where like it's like really serious, but then you got the one cutscene character that looks like a clown. I want to be that person, but I play it straight. Like I'm as cynical and as depressed as I am now. Like still speaking in that way with that tone, angry at the world, hating everything, but I've got like the most like clownish thing on. I give hard-hitting, depressing, boring analysis whilst looking like a clown. Right, Fracture and then Pearl. There's a possibility we could do both, but Fracture's won. It's won by 22. My god, my headset just turned off again. Now I gotta figure out which Fracture we should watch. Which one should we watch, though? Should we watch the first game versus... No, we watched Navi already. Should we just watch versus Foot and see what went wrong? Foot? Okay. I like that Miyagi. That's a nice emote. Imagine a black-haired Mini. Someone Photoshop it now. Someone Photoshop it now. I like the fact that my hair color is kind of unique, though. Kind of like, I mean, some people say I'm ginger, but I don't think it's as simple as that. Black hair Mini is like little Sliggy. Don't want to do that then. I want to be little Sliggy. that's his nickname for other things. Actually, no, it's Sluggy. Sluggy, actually. Right. So we're watching Fnatic. So I don't care about Foot. I don't care about your Foot. Pistol round. One of the things that we looked at against who the fuck was it they played? Navi? Was that Navi had Fade and Cypher, and Fnatic pretty much just played the Chamber on arcade a lot of the time, and then the Cypher and the Fade just got Chamber out. So they would camera up here with the cage, Fade Prowler, and then what the fuck's Alpha supposed to do? I don't know. He's dead. So that was the way that Navi counted it pretty easy, and we saw Chamber playing this side of the map, mostly here, like a lot of the time. So question 1 is, did they change that? Question 2 is, how does this Neon interact? Because Foot basically ran Neon randomly just to counter this. And I think it's because they knew that, like, if there's no Cypher, and even no, like, Killjoy advice, then what can you do against a Neon? Like, what does this do against Neon? The answer is not really a lot. Like, the Neon can just run at you. So I think that Foot made a good adaptation to just run Zeus on Neon. So for pistol round, we just see a 4-stack on A. This is kind of nice chamber idea on pistols. Like one of the ways you can construct a pistol on defense with chamber is just say chamber, you play somewhere, we're gonna fucking stack the other place. It's fine. It's curious that they're going for like they're basically going for they're trying to push out dish control so that they can fight like this way with their back turned to dish. So rather than just actually trying to shut down A main, they want to create like weird crossfires from dish, which is fine, I guess. It's a slightly weird idea. And then but the KO knife has hit 2 people, which is kind of weird. That like throwing a knife to dish from A main on an A main rush is a bit weird, but kind of cool. So Fnatic using this smoke so that they can flood out and create crossfires. This smoke is kind of cocking them a little bit because they can't actually see anything. But if you note, they're playing Astra. So like this is something early on that if I'm the coach, I'm writing this down. So like they're playing Astra. So the question is on their A hits, which 2 of the 3 are they smoking? And then we need to work a plan around how to abuse which one they're not smoking. So playing dish is probably smart because you would suspect that like they're gonna leave dish open for us to like play like this, which might have been Fnatic's idea, but they've just cucked them and said that like we're not gonna actually smoke this part and we're gonna smoke here. But I think this is kind of dangerous, to be honest with you. So I'm surprised that Foot go for that. Why is Kayak doing that is a question. So Kayak doesn't seem to realize that the smoke time is gonna dissipate now. And he's just caught in no man's land. So Kayak's fucked up. And then Bosa's just getting swung. And their whole pistol round idea gets completely shut down by 1 smoke, basically. I'm interested by Chronicle's decision to drop. I mean, he kind of needs to, I'd guess, but it's a bit... I don't know. Their whole idea was basically that Dish wouldn't be smoked, I think. And it was, so they got fucked. Would that be a yellow card for Kayak here? Not really. No. Yellow cards are reserved for people doing stuff that's like really, really, really dumb in a way that's like not like that looked like a brain fart moment rather than like rather than like just pissing me off. It just looked like a brain fart. You think Neon's still the best duelist in Fracture? I think Neon is underrated right now. I think Raze is better. But I think that Neon is underrated. Raze is underrated. Raze is better if you have a team that knows how to use the nade, basically. Which some teams don't. But I do quite like Neon. Like I'm a low key. I got a soft spot for Neon at the moment. So eco round. Alpha's just got some bullets for dish, and they're just slow. They're going for like a slow north side crunch. So recon. There's a stun ready, and then if there's contacts here, then you're going to see Alpha push up. So they've got an idea, but unfortunately, just A main again for Foot. Foot might have a read about Foot. So some of this map is going to be like some of the notes that I write about Fnatic should be about how they adapt between games and whether they've got strong enough strats and setups to actually beat people long term without changing. So like people would say that like we're very static when I was a coach sometimes with like the ways we did stuff, but like I always felt that like we had reasons for doing certain things and our ideas were strong enough to beat like we would know how to beat this, you know what I mean? So like as long as we had plans against it, we're fine. And I don't care that like we ran similar ideas, as long as we can beat the main things that people run at us, that's fine. Whereas I'm worried about Fnatic sometimes looking like they don't have strong enough ideas to beat some of the main stuff. I think that should change, but we'll have to see. Like, did Foot just come as this game knowing that A main was going to be free the whole game? Is one of the questions I got now, thinking about the way they've just ran the last 2 rounds. Chamber on Fracture's bad as fuck. It's not. I think Vice is better. But I think that, like, you can also just run the Vice Chamber stuff, I guess. I think that requires you to actually think harder about the map, though. But yeah, you see, like, it's just Alpha B again. And he's basically getting free roam to, like, look for stair stuff. On an anti-eco, that's fine. But, like, if in later rounds he's doing this solo, I would prefer that we're ready on this side of the map. So, like, if he sees stuff here, we can kind of, like, do slight push out or something. I'm curious to why are we starting rounds? I don't hate starting the Sova up here, but, like, if they did just go A main right now, it would be kind of difficult to do anything. Like, yeah, they're not doing anything. We don't have an aggressive line anymore, and then we have a little bit of info here. So, like, what happens right now if this raise is pushed off? What if they come here and push them off? Like, what do we do? Because we don't have anything. We're literally playing the map how you should be playing it technically. Like, we don't have control of anything. We're not ready to do anything. So this is a bit of a question mark to me. It's against full classic, so I can't be too weird about it, but and then we just horizontal rotate. So we'll have to see if this is a slight question mark now, but we'll see later if it. So the first time I see Alpha play A, I'm curious for a couple of reasons. So I'm first asking myself, what are we going to plan to do against KO ult? Secondly, asking, are we going to do something with Sova ult? Because, like, I wouldn't want to play B necessarily against the KO ult. But if we know they're likely to just rush because they got KO ult, we should be ready to do something, right? So are we ready to do something? And then what is this setup actually becoming? We're looking a bit lost right now. The other thing I'm looking at is this trip. It's like not an info trip. It's literally an anti-exec trip. It's like, we don't care if they're up here, but if they do try to exec out, then the trip might catch them trying to run out. And trying to break it is kind of difficult. It's like it's underneath. So if they jump out, it's going to slow down here, which is kind of a cool idea. But I don't know if it's worth. And then 4 people with the chamber. And then we got info top, and then we just horizontal rotate again. Like, we're not ready. Like, we don't have an anti-KO idea, it looks like. And we're not ready to actually push anything. We're just rotating sideways. Yeah, so I don't love what they're doing. One of those trips you can do, and if they don't know what they're doing. You mean this trip? This trip is still good. Knowing someone has defaulted dish is good information. A team should not be consistently putting someone dish. Oh, the one from site? Okay. So I'll be honest, like, looking at this already, I'm a bit concerned that Fnatic's defense is just not great. They haven't done anything. They're not ready to push out. They've got a stack and they're not doing anything with it. They're not playing for anti-KO ult. They don't have a Sova ult idea. How am I supposed to? I think this is fair. Isn't this fair? I don't know. Am I making too much of this? It's easier for me to say this because like I expect more from a team that we've gone through this stuff. Like we know this stuff. Why? The only thing could be is that they have a really strong retake specifically with Sova ult in this situation like this, but we're retaking with an op like through CT. It just feels like rough to me. Smoke. They got on it early, but okay. Yeah, I mean, so next round, Chamber gets set up dish, but then a knife just pops two people. So A main again for Foot. Like Fnatic haven't shut down A main once yet. Maybe the Chamber round, technically they were ready to do it. A knife hits two. I don't really know what they were ready to do over here either. I guess they were going for a trap kind of idea, soft. But look at the positions again. Like we're playing for site. For the site. Yeah, a lot of questions about this defense. We pushed out stairs though. And Alpha did still get a kill. What the fuck are Foot doing though? Sorry, what are Foot doing? They smoke dish. Why isn't there a smoke in CT right now? Where's the second smoke? And why is Zeus running out before it'll... So Fnatic, I'll be honest, I like the push through from the flank, but there's not a chance that they should consistently win this round if they're getting... They had to get that free pick for it to look good. And they lost anyway. 95% retake, coach. What do you mean 95% retake? What do you think they rotate through spawn a lot? I don't know. And then this chamber setup feels not amazing. Double operator on fracture? They haven't set up a main control. I mean, the micro is nice. I mean, this is like Chronicle things, really. Like, he's just ready to support, and they just get some nice shots, but... Again, rotating through CT spawn. It's versus eco, so it's not the worst. Like, you get eco pass sometimes. But again, we've seen the knife land here ×3. So why are we still putting a chamber here? Like, it's almost like, to me, this is, they're playing a south side idea because of the ults. And then in practice, they usually put the chamber here in that setup. But the problem is that, isn't that just like risky against the KO knife? Like, they're not adapting their round. Also, why is Kayak dry pushing stairs? And they, how are they going to use it? See, like, Alpha's had to TP out immediately. Like, 0 value. Wouldn't it just be better if he played, like, this line on top of the box? And then put his TP, like, you know, down here or something? As a coach, how do you fix your player? Oh, your players' comms in their games. It's a really difficult question, and I'm gonna focus on this because if I start answering that question, it'll take too long. Maybe ask that in my Discord, and I'll try and get around to it one day. I have an ask question channel in my Discord. So you see, they're using their ults now to push, but Kron's not ready. It's like Kron's watching behind, and we're not ready down here. But Bosa's still confident enough to go get that pick, which is crazy. What's the file on your desktop name, Valorant Ball? It's that. Remember that tournament we did where it's like we try and figure out who would win. Like if we put everyone into a lock-in style format for this year. I don't know why I called it Valorant Ball. Now even Crashes is on site. Okay, breach up, bailed him out. Okay. So again, like even low by now, again, like one of the things I think that's like kind of understated in Valorant is like the rhythm of like the game. Like throughout these rounds, Foot not once have been punished for going A main. Like they don't feel like they can't go A main. And like this is just another round where they've got A main and they're gonna go and get it. Like at a certain point they needed to throw a punish onto A main. Last round they kind of had a south side kind of crunch idea. But I think that's like something that they should have probably done. And I mean like even stuff like this, like Alpha gets a kill through a smoke. So he has to hit like a shot through a smoke to even get value. It's like he's got no support being set up at the start of the round. I guess they're going through a north side crunch, which means that Alpha's kind of free to do what he wants. It's so risky. How would I set this up is basically the question I'm asking myself. If you're going for a north side crunch and you want your chamber to do something, I guess it's difficult because you do want to put. I mean, you could literally just play something like that, to be fair. Well, you can't play on this box anymore, though, because it's not the second TP. But like Alpha's not going to want to play like that, so they want to play a more aggressive style. But then he's kind of stuck. So you can't put the TP over here because they can just go through onto him, and he can't escape. So like he's putting the TP here, but then he's stuck side. It doesn't feel quite right to me. So I don't like. They're basically hoping Alpha gets a kill or survives long enough for them to support, but I'm not 100% sure about the way they're doing it. Because he's kind of stuck now. It's not the chamber's terrible, it's just you can't, like, this is like a Yoru peak. Imagine if he was just like playing like a bit more of a annoying wall style. There's not many amazing things. Did I see the Icebox Vice War? No? What Icebox Vice War? Would you think Icebox is a double smokes no sentinel map? No. No, you need a sentinel in Icebox. Is there an argument to put Chamber at the top of drop looking at A main? I mean, no, not in this game, because they KO knifed drop enough, and they smoke off drop when they go there. So like, I wouldn't know. Not in this game. I'm very curious as to what this setup does. So finally, they're going for some kind of like A main denial, but they're running into a KO. I think that Vice, I would just like they just need a Vice. Wait, they lost this round? Oh, they're stuck on site together, that's why. Yeah, I mean, they're just... You remember what I said, like, if you see yourself in, like, site like this, you're kind of... You fucked up. I mean, they kind of didn't really have a choice with how they approached A main. But I feel like they should be playing heavier sands against the KO. I know this is kind of pedantic, but... I'd rather try and lock down here and let them through here than be stuck here knowing that they can pinch. Does that make sense? We don't want to get stuck in this box. Whereas if we're stuck in this box, at least they can't shoot us. And we can kind of take duels together with our heaven player. They can't do anything with the Razor right now. Wait. Was it this round that we just saw? I'm so confused. Did I go back too far? Oh no, they what, that's so weird. They actually hold the site? Why did I think Chronicle was just dead? So like I literally had no faith that Chronicle was gonna stay alive there. Oh, it's because after... Oh, wait. So they did... Oh, here. Yeah, they're kind of stuck still. That's why. They're still stuck despite all of that util. They're still stuck. Kayak has a one thing that Kayak micro-wise I've noticed that he does poorly is hold angles. I might start noting this down because it might be something that I can draw on later on, and it's like kind of an interesting thing because I do get bogged down with strategy and macro, but like this is the kind of thing where like I've seen this too much from Kayak, but I don't know what he's supposed to do here, honestly. Jiggling doesn't feel amazing, but he's trying to hold a pixel angle so he can just escape, but they've killed him through the box. So maybe he needs to like timing swing or something. But I don't know. Like it is something we saw even on a split earlier. You remember he was holding top ramp and he dies. I distinctly remember it's because he was holding like some angle and he just got wide swung and killed. I mean, it's a bad thing. Yeah, it's a bad angle to do that for anyway. But in general, in this game, you don't want to angle hard. I mean, they're just trying to hold a site, like. I don't know why they're obsessed with the A main side of things. It's like they practiced holding A main because it worked in practice, but like it's not. They need to play, I think, heavier towards sands. I'm being far more critical of Fnatic than other teams because we expect more from them, but also because like I know the level that they of theory that they should have, you know? Did I see this? What is this? What am I clicking there? The wall. Okay. Let's have a look at this. One sec. Yeah, I've seen this wall. Someone immediately responded by saying that you can jump over it though. Like I think Mr. Funhaver said that you can walk and jump over it. Right? Someone in chat who's actually a coach might be able to tell me. That like you can hear it and then you could just jump. Here, silent jump. Yeah. So Saint says that you can jump over it. So it's not very good. Like it would be amazing. No. It would be good if they couldn't jump it. But if I knew that a team was doing this every round, I would probably just come and just like jump it and then run away anyway. Like if you just orb mid, orb up, walk to here, jump it, and then that's your default probably. If What am I doing? Why have I got so many notifications on Twitter? One sec. Oh, that's cool. Bro, that's cool. Everyone go like this tweet. Why am I on Troopon? Oh, here. Hey, just one. What? Just one trophy? Oh, that's the other one. That's the. Sorry, the other one wasn't too far behind. Bro, why is they made Sticky look so tall? I'm fucking swinging my legs off, man. Look at me. This me on the desk. I'll reply to it later.
The B side, but the same plan is there for Fnatic with a 3-player push up. Aggression for the north side that will be.
Okay, what Fnatic doing this round? Another north side crunch.
The B side, but the same plan is there for Fnatic with a 3-player push up. Aggression for the north side that will be not declined, not denied.
I still think that from this game, I can argue that they haven't adapted well enough. Like they didn't adapt around this knife particularly well. They didn't adapt for the A main pressures very well. Yeah.
But ignored. Movement comes instead towards the B side. Zeus's ult activated and the rolling thunder. Although
This is nice. When they do have ults in their hands, they are pretty good with ults generally.
The spike goes in the other direction though. This is a massive rotation from the side of Foot where
What's this?
they've had success on sand. Why not go back to the A side?
Still crashes around those.
Oh, where's my trophy?
Go through the middle of the map and get there relatively soon, and Alfie is the biggest point of contention up above.
Well, he has been dealt with, to say the least, and the reveal hadn't even found its way to the site. He has been dealt with, to say the least, and the reveal hadn't even found its way to the site yet. Cracks with a good attempt, but only the.
So I was looking at a retake with the molly and stuff. Like whenever I see a retake from Fnatic, I'm always gonna see. Look at this molly. They're always. This is very good. I said it's so stupid. Like the molly means they can't swing here, and I think it goes up to here. So it's like getting all of this, I think. Respectable.
It's not going around, but don't seem to be as reliant on clutches as they did when they were facing off against Liquid. They still had some good individual plays on clutches as they did when they were
Sorry, I'm thinking about something else. I'm not allowed to speak about it, but
against Liquid. They still had some good
it's funny.
on clutches as they did when they were facing off against
Default three north side, 2 bot side. So we're setting up for an A crunch. I think there are basically 3 up here to try and stop any potential crunches, even though they probably get fucked if they did one. And then once they get set up towards dish, it's clear. We're gonna come down. They just really want to go A crunch, and they just put Boaster up here to try and support them not getting pushed, I guess. Not allowed to speak about it. No, I'm not allowed to speak about it.
Yeah, difficult standard once you've set it to meet every time. No, Yetajay, he's made it in. Cam spotted. Alfier is gonna back off for a moment. Main danger, and they are so wrong about that. Yetajay here for the trade. That main danger. The door.
Oh, the drone from dish.
Is the main danger.
So the way that this strat used to be run was Sova would be this player, reconning here, coming down here, droning. And then there'd be like 3 people here and 2 people here. And so there would be a switch of agents. I'm just curious, they come here and then drone. So they're just dry here pretty much. They're pretty much using the chamber to go, which I guess isn't the worst idea. I still wonder if the Switch version's better. Like, do we really want a Sova drone coming out dish? Does it really matter? Like, I like the drone out because we could inform, like, breach stuns and flashes and stuff. The problem is, though, is if the team is just fighting here, how do you break that setup? How do you, like, it's easy to just drone and catch the setup out and then react to it. But instead, they've just contacted into it and died. So it's one of those things I probably would have, you know, talked with Boaster quite a lot about, as like that little idea if I was coaching. So, or like on eco rounds, they go for orbs mostly. Now here's the big round. I think Jake told me about this round. You can see them pinging. I think they know they're getting north crunched. I think I can say this. Jake was pretty confident that they were going to get north crunched, but they hadn't scrimmed against north crunches because no one was doing them in scrims, and so they just got fucked. I mean, they shouldn't have, if they really on a bonus, like anti-bonus, they shouldn't be playing a 3-2 split. To be honest with you, I think that they can blame not seeing it in practice, but to be honest with you, having a 3-2, knowing that the chance of this going for like an actual push is very high. They should have gone into like with Chamber, it's hard to 4-1. Because obviously Chamber, like the way that 4-1 works on this map usually in the past would be you put 4 down here, Killjoy up here, or a Cypher, and then they have early information on a push happening because they got a turret or a camera here and can immediately take the ropes. Chamber has to use his own vision to take, like, and then would have to TP out and then take ropes, and by that time you're probably dead. So their anti-ecos probably need to be just a 5, to be honest with you. Or you're doing a 4-1 this side probably, which isn't the best idea, but it's probably better than 3-2 splitting. So yeah, so they played the wrong setup here for their anti-bonus. And I will see what positions they actually take. Because they look, you can see them pinging, like Boaster's ping this stuff, I think. But yeah, you can see they're not. Oh. It didn't look like they were fully, they didn't have like a full setup to deal with it. Because they're like, yeah, a little bit off.
It's a big mistake when the two are way convincingly, Tom, and at this stage of the game.
Go for that aggressive push to the top side. I think even from the side of foot, they might have expected to catch a lurker or one player on that side. In fact, they run.
It's just.
Of course. So now though, do the defense.
I don't think this is necessarily like orange highlight worthy, but I do think it's worth having this level of like it's easier for me to go this high level with other teams like Fnatic. I don't know. The other teams I didn't really go this high level. Just an eco round. So it's literal slow start because of that. And now, sorry, I got loads of fucking messages. I put my, I had to put notifications on my phone because I was missing loads of deliveries that I need for Berlin. I'll probably turn them off so that you don't keep hearing my phone buzz. Because I'm so popular, people messaging me. So this is old school Fnatic Recon A main to try and inform where people are. I think they were worried about a north side crunch again, so just played 3 north side, I guess. And then Foot had a really good prep here. So like this was something in this game that I noticed was like, look at Foot's prep. Like they knew this recon was coming in. Zeus was ready to hide behind the box. Now watch. After the recon, immediately flash. This should have been a suck instantly, but it's late. Swing. Like they've recleared A main instantly. Like this is nice prep from Foot. Like they expected the fracture pick, they changed to a neon, and then they had actual ideas. Like this is beautiful. I think this is I know this is like for Foot, but like I have to this is I should be doing a fucking analysis on this. It's like because it's so easy to see like how like this isn't a round they do usually. I was thinking about this, Gemini, with the Turkish thing. I was thinking of like, I wonder if I could like, because did you did you see that like Magnum put a photo up yesterday? Like I don't know any information. Like no one's told me anything, but Magnum put up a photo yesterday of him going to Berlin, and then everyone in the replies is saying BBL, welcome to BBL. So like I'm gonna presume that he's subbing in for BBL. And so I was thinking like if I did like imagine if we did like if I did an interview with Magnum and I just asked like how the fuck did they go, like BBL has like access to all these young superstar Turkish players, and I just asked Magnum how the fuck did you scam this one then? Like but obviously don't be that brutal, but like cheeky, ironic, sarcastic kind of interview. I don't know if Chi was still out. Like Powell said in an interview that like he wasn't sure.
Oh,
This is like,
it's fucked.
why did they pick up this man?
Oh, Bro, I almost fucking destroyed my nose.
Why did they pick up this guy? I can't believe they picked up this idiot. This is gonna be on my prep for VBO actually. I should add this in. This is very important. This is actually very important. I'm doing BBL next, don't I? Shouldn't I be doing BBL next? Yeah. This is my job. Is if Magnum is now the sub, I'm getting this on broadcast. This has to get on broadcast. Surely that's a fair question to ask. They have the pick of young Turkish talent, homegrown on their doorsteps. But they go for a guy who cannot set up his monitor. 1 minute into the round and we've achieved almost nothing. Arcade exec, we're walking. I wonder if Fnatic are baiting out like you know, they're expecting to go like, because usually they go under and a breach shot, and they're like maybe Foot won't play the site against the breach shot, but they are kind of just playing the site against the breach shot because it's foot. So if I was... Okay, never mind. Outer captain gets punished. If I was Fnatic, I'd be using... Okay, this is kind of cool. So they were... I think they were setting up a situation where they used the drone in a way to inform whether they needed to ult, probably. Maybe. I could be overthinking this, but... That's what I would be doing this round. I'd be trying to figure out if we need to ult based on like the drone info or the recon info. Bro, that's unlucky. That was... It looks like a bad ult, but it's a good ult. And then somehow Foot have got kills. Like this round's I'll be honest, kind of unlucky for Fnatic. Both teams didn't play the opener particularly well, in my opinion. I think that Foot... It's stuff like this that from Foot I just don't understand. Like After Caps is playing Heaven against a Breach shot. He's playing Heaven against a Raze Breach comp. And then he's also against a Breach shot. And like how does he survive in Heaven? Like Foot just don't care about this kind of stuff. Like all the stuff I'm saying they don't care about. They just play to like they're like our micro is so good we'll just find a way to win the round. We'll find a way to headshot you anywhere. Is basically what happens. This was rough by Alpha. Alpha's not particularly amazing at 1v1, so I'm not gonna lie. And then now they're 3-2 splitting again against a comp with a Neon. It's...
Showing that they are always to be feared. And while Zeus has decided that this round belongs to him, already finding the open on to Crashies. The other three...
It's like they don't understand the win conditions they're comp.
This is actually an all-in fight. And while Zeus... Showing that they are always to be feared. Two teams...
It's very strange.
Pushing a lot of these make it to a crash
round below feared. Showing that they are always to be feared.
Do I Maybe this should be in the fracture. Just put fracture. I'll just put like fracture defense. Not enough push outs. Too much holding sites. Little value from chamber. No adaptation to foot knife. Fracture attack. Not playing around their lack of Senti info. Lost 2 rounds, 3-2 defaulting against pushes. Sorry, I missed messages. Have I done Vitality? No. I'm working backwards. I've done Apex, Carmine Core, Navi, Koi, Giant X, Mates, and now I'm doing Fnatic. I'm going worst performers to best performers. Is this presentation public? No. What are you doing right now? I am going to be working stage 1 as a caster and as an analyst desk person, and I am trying to figure out narratives around the teams and what they did during kickoff so that I can talk about it for stage 1. I'm preparing for stuff. I am going a bit like I've got nothing better to do right now. And like I've never done this before, so I don't know how I should do it. But this is just how I thought I would do it. It's just this way. And as the tournament goes on, I will probably add I will add this stuff to the document. So like when I see Fnatic play for the first time, I'll add this and I'll put in, well, let's say this is Lotus because it's actually Lotus. I'll put in their strats, and then when I'm casting, I'll have this page in front of me when they play Lotus, and I'll be looking at this stuff thinking, oh, they actually aren't doing this default anymore, Lauren. Or, you know, on the desk, I'm like, oh, today they completely changed their game plan. They no longer played this kind of setup that they were doing before. They've actually changed it, and I can talk about it. Do you have an iPad? No, I've got a laptop, though. I would just print this shit out, though. I'll just print it out. At the very worst, I have a phone. I literally just bought a laptop. It's right here. It's right here, ready to go. It's kind of heavy, actually. I hope it works. Yeah, I had to use my friends for kickoff. No, I didn't fall into the apple trap. I bought a laptop because I want to stream if I can. I want to stream if I can. So it's a good laptop. Like I want to be able to stream like co-streams or me doing more prep. Who would be Fnatic new head coach if you're going back as analyst caster? I mean, they've had plenty. Would you ever post this to Coach Potatoes? I don't think anyone would care.
We have seen that resurgence from Zeus as well. I think he had 6 kills coming in. He's already matched.
My brain isn't working. Where do you typically dart on a BXEC? Pro BXEC? The best one that I think right now is the one that I'll show you right now. Actually, this is quite good because this is Coach Potato stuff. Let me see if I can find. See if I can find the round where they did it. Oh, I actually didn't actually put that. I think I changed their BXEC a little bit. Ah, fuck. I didn't include the fast B fucking. One sec. Long story short, is G2 will do the way G2 will do it, I think it's good. Depends what comp you got, but what G2 do is they have their gate crash ready here, and then they'll flash, and then the recon is specifically like right here, like in the roof, and it clears this corner. It pings if people peek, but it also gets all of this space. Well, all of this space here on the left, so that you can TP like into the corner basically. So I think that recon's pretty good. Some teams used to put one like down here to stop, like to help with people flooding out. And it obviously got backside here. And then some teams used to do it here. So it's, you know, scan here and here. So those are the 3 main ideas, I think. And the rest of the team floods. We're talking attack side though. Their exec was this. Let me just show you the. Their exec was this. So they would have device thorns landing in the link, and it would bleed out, so that it would stop people going through. They would suck that corner, and then the recon TP, and then ignore like the positions. This is like the lineup is from here, but obviously Vice would run up after. Yeah, so that's pretty much what they do. It was pretty good. Obviously, earlier in the round, if this is against the Vice wall, then they would have to default the Vice wall and shit. But yeah. So watch G2. It just skip to rounds where G2 use this recon, and you'll see Trent. You just copy Trent's lineup for it. Basically, it's quite specific. I think where he's shooting it. Because I was surprised that it was actually being used. The timeout is late. I think this is something I have to point out too. Right? This is 2 times that I've said timeout is late. Like, I think I was late with timeouts. But I wasn't 12-6 late. And then what was the other one that I said was late? The Abyss, right? 8-10.
Scoreboard from the top down, it almost feels like that.
And then it was like, wasn't it like, didn't they let 4 rounds go in a row? This one might not be so late though.
Removing again. This one, they're gonna have
I'm not an Alma hater. I'm not pointing like I'm just saying what I'm seeing.
All of their ultimates committing so much.
Again, it's easier for me to flame people that I'm like friends with, you know what I mean? Wait, I just closed the fucking...
exciting, but I want to add
Years she didn't wish it out.
So I took a timeout to go straight back into 3-2 defaults.
it has a nice ring to it.
Putty pause. Now I really wish it's out. The brim's not quite there. That's no Sage ponytail, and as a result, Yedije gets.
I mean, they're so slow. We're so slow. By the time we got arcade,
Now I really close this out.
they're already pushing A main.
Been working them out.
Zeus, someone we heard Fnatic.
It's just obvious.
Still standing, and look at the positioning. Look how far they have pushed in the round. He has boxed them in. Althea, though.
I mean, that's a good push from Alpha.
A first kill will set them
It's
up
just...
very
First, they got to deal with Alpha here. I think he's soon to get a kill. Yedije gets one, and the cage gives him cover to fall right back. It's the free opening pick again. Foot have been working the map.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's enough for Fnatic. An hour and 20 minutes. I mean... I should watch their pro another day. Why doesn't Fnatic run Neon? I mean, it's not really that egregious to not run Neon right now. There's not many teams that do. Unless you mean we didn't in the past. It's just a bad meta read by me. Right, BBL.
It's fucked. Oh! But I almost fucking destroyed my nose.
Well, like I said, BBL. If he's on BBL, I'm a BBL fan. I've got a team to support now. Is it an upgrade for them? Vac played quite well. It times extremely well during kickoff, but he also did have games where he was very uncomfortable. So, oh, hey, Damon. So I would say Magnum has always been a very good Sentinel, and he's one of the in terms of like a substitute player, I think that you couldn't get more perfect than Magnum. Like he is one of the smartest players I've coached, and one of the most thoughtful players I've coached. Despite hitting his own head with monitors and getting stung by jellyfish and not knowing how lifts work and generally being one of the dumbest humans on the planet, he's still very thoughtful and smart at Valorant. Yeah. I think it's fair to say Chihuahua is probably overall, you know, a more impactful player because he's like more firepower, but Magnum in this position is going to be very strong. I also think Magnum slightly. Well, I think probably Magnum could be underrated. I'm not going to go out and bat for him taking over the server, but like, it's a very good role for him to actually prove that he's better than what he did on KC. Because like on KC, he had to play flex and was IGLing. Whereas like, I do think that there's still room for Magnum Sentinel and VCT. He just needs to find more consistency with his aim style and not stress out as much. Those would be the things I'd be working on with him if I was coaching. Because he got a little bit flustered at times. And his aim was kind of... he had like a shaky aim style. The way I describe Magnum is... this is Magnum. Look at him. Hashtag wieners out. Just a little cute boy, you know what I mean? little bit wholesome. Sometimes getting thrown shit in his eye. Just the Doma the Doma the Doma Magnum dynamic was a lot like the Carmen and Butters to me. Ignoring some of the images. Is Magnum confirmed? No. I'm reading between the lines. I don't have info on Magnum. Despite I could probably message people right now and probably get told the answer, but like I feel in my position now I probably shouldn't I don't think it's right for me to react to stuff with insider information. Like I want I want to have the same information that you guys have when I'm working broadcast. I don't think it's fair for me to get information before. And of course I'm going to get some stuff before, but I want to be as the experience you have is the experience that I should have in terms of like reacting to information. Because I do think sometimes that if you know information in advance, then you can kind of not realize that it's like a surprise or, you know, you're not able to react accordingly, you know, if that makes sense. So I don't actually know what's happening, but I'm reading between the lines here. So I'm getting ready for that situation. What are the team goals for BBL? This is interesting to me. This might be one of the actual more interesting team goals in terms of like other teams is more like it's often tangible, whereas I feel like for BBO it's more like it's less about position in the league. I could be wrong, but I think this was genuinely probably one of their goals. I mean, Damon, if he's still in the chat, he can tell me if this is something that they're thinking about. But like, this is what I see. Like, it's like they were getting ready potentially to go back to this, but like, they had too good an opportunity to go international this year. So where do you think they would need to place for this to actually them to figure it out? Like, where do you think that they actually are happy with placing in the league? Like, try to push top 5, sneak international. Do you think that that's the kind of, if you were like the GM of BBL, like, I mean, imagine before you know that BBL Pacific actually farm tier 2. Like, pretend you don't know they farm tier 2. Pretend that you're like, okay, their tier 2 team's good, but we don't know if they're like, this year they could fumble or something. You think they'll go back to Ultra because they don't make champs? If they don't make champs, what if they went to Toronto? We also don't know the relationship between the tier 2 team and the tier 1 team. Like, we don't know if they're if BBL Pacific do well. There's nothing to say that BBL like. There's nothing to say that they can just get all the BBL Pacific players. Like, Comeback isn't gonna just sit there and go, okay, I'll just join BBL. Like, unless it's in his contract that he has to, which I doubt is the, you know. BBL owns Pacific. Is this prep for casting? It's interesting. I think you guys just knew off the top of your head. I think that's how some people probably do it. I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. My prep for casting last time was literally writing down notes. Like I would watch maps from teams and write down notes, and I'd have like a narrative. I'd have like a narrative page to start with, and just write down anything that I could write about narrative stuff. But I'm doing desks sometimes this split for split one. So like I need to think about narratives more. Usually Lauren, like Pansy is the person who will sometimes set up narratives and where she wants to go with talking about the team. And I'm just there to respond to that sometimes. And so I don't really need to like think about narratives as much. Although like sometimes she'll ask like before the game or we'll kind of discuss it. But like narrative stuff wasn't something that I had to think about as much. Although I think in the long term, I guess the color caster, like when I watch Sponge cast and CS, he's very good with like narrative, historical narratives. So, I guess I'll talk to her about that, about like in the long term, if I was doing more casting, like how that would work. Is Hypop back? You guys will find out what's happening. I can't say anything. I can tell you that I will still be casting and doing some desk. I feel like almost every work is high expectation for the team. Almost every team tries. That's fair, Nikki. That's fair. So someone made the point that like basically if the team doesn't make champs, they make changes because one of the big goals is to make champs, and one of the big goals is to make champs because there's a shitload of money to make if you make champs, basically. Yeah, like I like bringing up Hypoc and talking about Hypoc is impossible. Like I can't say anything. Like it's impossible. Like so, if there's like no point of talking about it, to be honest. Like I'm really glad that he's like. I'm glad he's back. You know what I mean? Like I'm hoping he's fine. Like even like if I was really Machiavellian, I could be like, oh, it's so bad, but like it's genuinely like a good thing that he's good enough to even do GC. You know what I mean? I think this BBL roster could win champs, and BBL would strongly consider signing Pacific still. I mean, is that true? Is that true? Maybe I should ask Damon. But he's not going to say, is he? He's not going to say, oh. I can ask Damon about like decision to go international. Like this should have been done before this part of the tournament, but all the team are on 2026 contracts. So it looks like what they would do is just have Pacific BBL ready to steal some players from, potentially. Wait. Who's Turkish? Like, I don't know here. What? Like, I don't know. I'll put it underline so I remember to go back. How to hit that goal? So we're basically saying they need to go high. They need to aim high. You think their English not that good? Oh, you mean the Pacific players? I'll be honest though, GSR Alpha's English was dreadful when he joined Fnatic. it's one of those things where like I do think that having bad English has like stopped some Turkish players from joining teams. But if Comeback could speak no English and I'm having him on my team, to be honest with you. Comeback could com with like in-game typing or in-game fucking, you know, it's CS. Can you do it that in Valorant? In CS you could do like Roger that and all that shit, you know what I mean? Can you do that in Valorant? Comeback comes here to practice English. That's true. Yeah. Comeback has been here. That's true. Yeah, I forgot. Comeback does come here sometimes. And then Loiter has also DM'd me in the past. They're very, yeah, they're so hungry. They're so hungry. Okay, how to hit these goals. So within the context of their team, it's like what I see from the strengths of their team is the good structure. Good structured Valorant with these good structured Valorant. Sociable, like he's that guy's fucking sick, man. I know that he might not be like he probably hasn't shown it in VCT yet, but I mean even Profek was like I think these three are like my doubt on the roster was literally 11. Like going into this season, I was like, okay, Chiwa, I think is underrated as fuck. Profek was the best smokes player probably. I thought Ruxic was good too, but Profek was probably the best smokes player tier 2. Sociable should have been in VCT at the start. And this guy, I was like, okay, like I don't think his stats are amazing, so I'm gonna presume he's not like the better player. But like what's happened is Levin is like the best player on our team, and then these three are fucking sick. So like there's so much potential. It's a shame that like she was being visa fucked, I guess. How well has he been playing? Profek, I don't think's hit the highs that he can hit, but he was doing decently. He's not doing bad. He's not hitting like I don't think he's hitting his actual peak form. Levin wasn't doing I thought he did better than this. Did he just have really big pop-offs and then like have weaker games? Because this isn't if you showed me this, like if we talked about BBL, we'd be like, oh my god, this guy. But like this isn't actually that strong. Like this is okay. Like this isn't strong. He had three good maps. So they need to find consistency. Because this guy, it's hit and miss. Also, like hit and miss here too. To be honest with you, like look how quickly it goes from 120 to 150 just because of that one game. It's crazy. Like he must have had like a 300 ACS game for this to go up this high. Expectations pre-kickoff. Dark Horse. Wait, my expectations were Dark Horse like middle table team, but I think general public was like, 8th, 9th kind of team maybe. I don't think people had them too high. You guys had 5th to 6th. I think if we're being honest about the general public, I don't think they had. What do you even consider good and bad? I mean, again, GSR, I'm not telling you how I consider good or bad stats, but like, because I don't want you to start thinking about it. But is there an update on Chiwa's visa problem? Powell said in an interview with Tom Biz, which is, I should actually, okay. If you want to know more about BBL, go look at Tom Biz. I'll give him a plug. Tom did an interview with Powell somewhere. Here. So if you want to learn more about BBL, go watch this video. In this video, Powell says that he isn't sure if Chiwa can play. The only this is the thing, Saint. This is why it's great. This is why this prep is good, because if I'm on the desk and BBL are to be talked about, I imagine the feeling from the general sentiments toward Levin is going to be that, oh, he played great. But if I'm able to contextualize that, like, okay, he had pop-offs, but also, you know, we can't just sit here and praise him, then like that's good. So I do think that, yeah, that's probably something to talk about. Losing Scott as coach. I mean, this is the biggest news. I mean, this isn't massive, but I'm interested by this stuff. So if I'm interested by it, then I should, you know. How do you spell Yampi's name? Double P. I always get the wrong fucking doubles. Yampi. Need to watch VOD. Beg news? Beg news. What? The team wasn't able to set him up. A big part of his Raze performance. I don't think you need to set up a Raze though. You're playing Raze wrong if you're trying to set up a Raze sometimes. I don't know. Like a lot of Raze play to me is you're not setting up Raze. You're just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's like you shouldn't be diving deep with a Raze, so it's not like you're kind of setting them up. You don't want them to like not entry though, but you know. Getting first kill on Raze is way harder than with other duelists. Yes, but you shouldn't be going for FKFD on Raze as much as other duelists is the point. Like, I'm pretty sure if you look statistically, if you looked at Raze players, they're not gonna be that the FKFD portion. The FKFD percentage should go down. Like they shouldn't be taking up as much of that space. You can pretty much just be the first in, but you need to run in like a maniac. Meta read. I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about meta read because didn't have time to adjust with sub. So fairly standard, fairly standard. Some Peho vice flirting. Standard. Generally strategic protocol approach. With specific prep. What's the date today? Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. How many more teams I gotta do? I might need to skip on watching VODs so much for the other ones, and then I'll go back and watch VODs when I'm in Berlin. 4. I could probably get it. I think I should try and do all 4 tomorrow where I don't actually watch VODs, and then I'll watch VODs at another time. Maybe.